Welcome, everyone, to Rutgers at the Voice of College Football. We have a special show for you tonight. We're going to talk about several timely topics. Rutgers football. Number one, we're going to review the 2024 season. It certainly had its ups and downs, exciting moments, disappointing moments. We'll talk about that in great detail, including the injuries, the critical losses, the loss of the defensive coordinator, and we're going to talk about Coach Schiano and assess his performance in 2024. Then we're going to look ahead to 2025. We've got some breaking news, a new co-defensive coordinator for Rutgers that we'll talk about. We're going to talk about the schedule, the recruits, and the expectations. And then finally, we're going to have an in-depth player profile on quarterback Ethan Kaliakmanis, the Minnesota transfer who threw for over 2,000 yards this year, the most yards in over a decade for a Rutgers quarterback. It's going to be a great episode, but before we get into those topics, like I said, this is a special show because tonight we're going to introduce the new co-host of Rutgers at the Voice of College Football, Gabriel Pickup, a graduate of Rider University, a passionate Rutgers fan and generally passionate sports fan who's going to add incredible value to the show and to our discussions about Rutgers football moving forward. So, Gabe, welcome to the show. We are absolutely thrilled to have you here.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be on the show, and I can't wait moving forward to see this channel grow, see the company grow, and see the fan base get more dedicated. So let's get right into it, man. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Go Scarlet Knights. All right, well, let's get right into it. And for those of you who are watching, if you like the show, hit that like and subscribe button. We've also got the link, a StreamYard link in the chat if you want to call in and offer your comments. So we're looking forward to that. All right, so let's dive right into it. Topic number one.
Yes, sir.
The review of the 2024 season. Now, Gabe, I got to tell you, this season really disappointed me, and I'll tell you why. Because when the season started, Rutgers had a senior-laden team, and they had a schedule that was very favorable. But then the injuries hit, and they hit very hard. And so did the critical losses, such that a 4-0 start ultimately turned into a 7-6 season, ending with a 44-41 loss to Kansas State. So what are your thoughts on the 2024 season and how it went?
Well, honestly, I am surprised that you're disappointed about the season because I believe it was a great season, rattled by injuries, but we had some bad losses in the middle of the season that ultimately came back to bite. But throughout the season, what I saw was dedication, drive from those who were healthy. We had a great quarterback, a great way to end the season for our star running back. And although we lost in the bowl 41-44, the defense wasn't quite there, which you would think for seniors, and the physicality would be maybe superior. It wasn't quite that day, but I think it was overall a great season, starting 4-0, going back down to 4-4. But ultimately what we saw was a great season out of Kaliakmanis, and we're thankful. We're lucky. We have another season of great quarterback play, barring any setbacks. And that's something that we haven't had, like you said, in over a decade, with respect to everyone who has played for quarterback for Rutgers. This is overall just a year I'm actually very happy about and optimistic moving forward.
I love this. I love people who disagree with me. It makes for a great discussion. Okay, you make some really, really good points. But when I thought when this season started, I'm a New Jersey native, a Bergen Catholic graduate. I love Rutgers, and I'm thinking this is finally the year where Rutgers breaks through, maybe even goes to the college football playoff.
I hear you.
And we start off 4-0, and that amazing victory over the Huskies of Washington, who were in the national championship game last year with Kalen DeBoer. And then all of a sudden, we decide to go to Lincoln, Nebraska, and only score 7 points.
It
was terrible. And then against the Wisconsin Badgers, after Wisconsin is dominated at Camp Randall against Alabama, they come in and they crush us 42-10. And then we have, of course, the 35-32 loss to UCLA. But what really killed me this season is that loss to Illinois. We are ahead of Illinois with about 8 seconds left, and they score from midfield on a pass. We have missed tackles. So And when we lost to Kansas State by 3, I thought, oh, what could have been? I'm one of these people who I see the glass half empty sometimes, but you see it half full. So tell me why I'm wrong.
So I have it half full because it was disappointing against Illinois, like you said, allowing 23 points in the fourth quarter. But the thing is, to counter that, allowing 8 points to Illinois through 3 quarters, that's pretty impressive. And it was a stinky fourth quarter, even though we scored 18 points. We did enough offensively, but that's the reason why I'm optimistic, is because a lot of the offense is returning. A lot of the defense is not. We got a new defensive coordinator. Well, we got 2 new defensive coordinators to look out for here. We have Rob Smith coming in, and we have Zach Sparber coming in, and they are the selling point for transfers, recruits. They are the reason that this team can turn into another defensive juggernaut like they have been in years past. And Rob Smith is it's his 3rd stint at Rutgers. He's familiar with the system, familiar with Schiano. The coaching staff is what will help bring this defense back, and the experience is what will help propel the offense even more to the next level, despite losing an amazing running back. So that's why I'm optimistic. I'm glass half full. Not always, but with this team, absolutely.
All right. Well, you make some good points. And I see in the comments section, we have Mac Deaver. Good evening, Adam. Finally, someone is standing up to your takes. Take a chill pill, Mac. If you would like to, Mac, if you would like to stand up, don't hide behind the keyboard. Call into the show, and we will discuss it. So, okay, you make good points, but what really upset me was that with that 4-0 start, including that 21-18 win over Washington, I thought that against Nebraska, we had so many silly penalties, couldn't punch the ball in from the 2-yard line on 1st and goal, then came out lifeless against Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. Then against UCLA, the defense, whether it's due to injuries or just whatever it was, 35 points to a mediocre UCLA team. And then that Illinois loss, it just seemed to me that we were so close yet so far away. And then to put the icing on the cake, we lose our defensive coordinator, Joe Harismiak, who was absolutely fantastic. And you mentioned this Rob Smith guy that we'll talk. I don't know who Rob Smith is. You could educate me on that. But at the end of the day, when I look at 2024, I do agree with you that in part, there is reason for optimism. We did defeat Virginia Tech. We did defeat Washington. Our defense was ranked as one of the best in the country before all the injuries. And there is a lot to be proud of. I just think that there's so much we left on the field, and we could have been a 9 or 10 win team. And that brings me to my last point in this segment, which is, let's talk about Coach Schiano. Now, Coach Schiano, I have a tremendous amount of respect for you. Your first stint at Rutgers, you turned this program around after the horrific Chris Ash era. And you're doing it again, Coach. And, I love you. Much respect to you, one of the best coaches, not the best in Rutgers football history, but
best in recent history.
Best in recent history, absolutely. But, Coach, we still went 7-6. So I'm wondering, Gabe, what do you think of Coach Schiano and his performance this year?
Well, I love Schiano. I love that he was able to elevate Kali Ekmanis and the receivers around him. What I like about him is the NFL experience that comes with it, coaching the Bucks in the, I think, 2012, 2014-ish, around there. And what he brings is, at least to this Rutgers program currently, is something we don't have much of, which is league experience that can translate to some of these losses that we took this year, maybe turning into wins next year. So I'm happy. It seems like there's not really much of a hot seat right now at the time. It seems like everyone's content with maybe not the result of the year, but at least with how Schiano is as a coach. Some of these losses I'm looking at, the 7-14 at Nebraska. You mentioned Illinois. You mentioned the Bowl. He's done well enough for the schemes to work for the majority of the game. What I think it comes down to is these players getting experience on offense, and that really will help this program thrive. Because the wins we got were mostly blowouts against some teams that are not even all that bad. I mean, Akron, 49-17, regardless of how Akron is, that's a damn good win. 44-7 to start the year. I mean, I know that seems like a year ago at this point, but I mean, the hot start, if we can take that hot start and start hot again next year, that's That's what gets me excited about Coach Schiano, his ability to light a fire under these guys, you know what, and keep the dice rolling. So I'm happy about Schiano, and I'm happy about the defensive coordinators coming in because there's 2 of them, and I'm happy that the offense can keep the dice rolling, like I mentioned with the staff.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'll agree with you, Coach Schiano. If I was grading Rutgers this year, the team's overall performance, I would give it a B minus. I would give Coach Schiano a B. But you know what? Coach Schiano, this discussion is not going to be complete until you come on the show. We're going to need you to come on this show. We're here to support Rutgers football. We are Rutgers fans. We need you to come on the show because we're building this channel, which will be the voice of Rutgers football. And we look forward to having you on and hearing your thoughts. Okay, so
by the way,
what'd you say?
I'll give him an A minus. By the way, I think that B minus is fair, but I'll give him more of an A minus for how Schiano performed.
So A minus. Yep.
I guess to maybe dispute some of your takes, he might have to come on. Yeah, I look forward to it. I'm sure it'll happen eventually.
Yeah, Coach, and some of those players coming back for 2025, we want to see you on here, and that starts with you, Ethan. We want to see you on the show, talk to you about your good season and what your thoughts are going forward. And that brings us into the next segment,